Hi, I'm Mike. I'm the coordinator for Fit and Fall Proof for the health department. I support the instructors who lead Fit and Fall Proof. It's a no-cost balance and mobility class for seniors. I just support the leaders, and you'll find us in libraries, senior centers, churches, basically anything like that. And we try to maintain the balance and mobility of our seniors, so you're getting up and moving and you get to hang out with your friends and have a lot of fun. And today I will show you just a sample class and some of the key movements that are a good idea to do every day if you're at home or anywhere you are. Well, walking and cardio are good exercises and get you out in some fresh air. There are a few mobility and strength exercises that will help you maintain your independence and strength to stay walking. So with that today I will demonstrate I guess a kind of a best of, and you're welcome to follow along and take notes and do these on your own. And because if you don't use it, you lose it is the main thing. So if we can keep using it, we can use it longer and stronger. So at first, with any activity, it's always good to warm up, and your basic march is always good. You can get your hands moving and marching. Even though marching's kind of boring, it can be fun. You can pretend you're a bird marching along. And remember to go slow. Don't make everything snap, crackle, pop. You're not a bowl of cereal. You're a person, so. And you can even punch along as you march, warming yourself up. Or you can pretend you're climbing a mountain. One of those that used to work on the farm, you got this huge cow that would have, saved your farm. Just don't feed it. But it's got any motion. And getting yourself warmed up. That's kind of like shake it out a little. And then always good to roll your shoulders. So we sit, we read books, we're at a computer, we watch TV. Bad posture, shoulders hunched. So if we bring shoulder blades together, open up our chest and shoulders out. And those ex-military just go to parade rest, and it'll bring you that way. But it's always good to maintain your posture, because again, if you don't use it, you lose it. And we are pretty bad with our posture. So a lot of posture exercises, such as opening up your shoulders. And from there, you can just arm circle. You can keep marching while you arm circle. This gets lubrication into the joints, and especially into the hip joint. Gets them ready to move. Even if you just get up in the morning and just do a few of these, it'll get your body ready to move. And you'll have less snap, crackle, and pop as you go about your day. Good. And just kind of shaking that out. And another good one is our neck, because we sleep wrong. So if you just, with good posture, you can just slowly turn your head to about as far as it'll go. Don't push it too much. Again, with a straight posture, turning to center and turning the other way. And, well, to a camera this will look creepy, but another way to exercise your eyes and your neck is to focus on something in front of you and turn it till your eyes just can't. There you focus. Turning the other way, keeping your eyes forward or on a picture or something in front of you. Good. Okay, and another stiff area is usually our low backs. And some of that has to do with the hips. So if you get into a nice soft stance, almost like you're riding a horse, but not quite. Little bit more shoulder width is fine. And soft, and then just kind of, you're just going to rotate. Trying to keep your spine straight. You can keep your head still if you're watching TV and want to do this, or you can go ahead and move your head. If you get dizzy, keep your head stationary, of course, focused. Of you. Plus these feel good and they're just doing them each time you stand up. If you're getting up to get a drink, maybe run to the restroom, a few of these would be good. Good, and we'll just march that out. And another way to march it out is leading with your palm if you can, kind of like you're directing traffic, or your superhero pushing those locomotives apart so there's not a tragic wreck. Getting a good stretch again. Good. And we'll shake that out a little. And again, stretch. I like fingers in, palms out. This, you get more stretch. You don't have to, you can just reach, but good. We'll just shake that out a little. And another favorite of mine, which you could say gets two birds with one stone, is just I simply like to do a shuffle. This, and a lot of times in lieu of a march. And this one we have our inner ear moving with us, which ages as well. And shuffling your weight so you're balancing on one and the other. And sometimes during class we'll just stop and hold. And the clinical ideal is to be able to do this for 20 seconds with your eyes closed. Not many even 20-year-olds can do it, but it's a good practice to maintain what you have. And also, going through your day, if you do these shuffles, if you're walking along and you put your foot in front and it's ice, or you're at home, Fluffy or Fido is there, you just pull your foot back and you haven't fallen because you're used to transferring your weight and you're maintaining kind of you could call it a pillar. Those of you in Tai Chi will recognize this movement and they practice it a lot. So this is always, sometimes in lieu of marching, I will do this one. And another major muscle group is the quads. As you can tell with bodybuilders, they'd be out to here, and football players. But even for us regular people, we need them to stand and maintain balance. And to keep them nice and flexible, one way to do that is a simple bum kicker movement. Just bring your heel to your backside as you shuffle walk. And of course, all these movements can be done with a chair. You can just have the chair near you and steady yourself. And without a lot of static stretching or something that could really make you sore for a few days, just doing simple bum kickers. And with that, you can just go to the opposite side. And this also gets lubrication, synovial fluids into the knee. So when you climb the stairs, you again don't have snap, crackle, pop. And then I'll go from there back to my normal shuffle, just working that out. And if you want, you can, those of you with rhythm and music, get snap and put a little groove into it. Unfortunately, I have no rhythm. I can barely operate my radio. Good. Maybe I'll just shake that out with a few more rotations. There are physical therapists and trainers out there that have retirees that are golf players. And to get this effect back, that's all they do is train from the hip to the low back, maintaining this. But if we maintain it ourselves, we can just stay strong and independent. Or if you're carrying your groceries, you can turn and put the groceries away, and your low back won't have a fit about it. And shuffle it out. And going from there, another fun challenge is stairs. Well, you don't have to be Rocky going up the Capitol dancing with your gloves on. You will encounter a few stairs. Now, with good posture, we're going to work the hip flexors, and all they do is basically raise the knee. And switching back to a basic high march. Again, steady yourself, hold on to a table, a chair, or the wall. You can be seated and raise your knees. That'll get the hip flexors stronger. And if you really want to show off, go into a steam engine. And you've got rotation and hip flexor. So when you carry your groceries up the stairs, you've got a good foundation to do it. And I'm just going to shake that out. Okay, and another fun one. There's a muscle deep to glutes back here, a good old friend. And if you simply, we call it Elvis. Just simply bring one foot forward, and you can pretend there's a spider you don't like, or got something on your shoe. As long as you're turning your toe like this with your hip, make sure your knee and toe are tracking. This will work that muscle. It's called the piriformis. Pretend this is the head of your femur going into your hip. It's a little muscle that'll help keep it flexible and keep the bone in the socket. Just a few of those, and we'll switch over, and it's the same thing. Let's try right here, and just like you squishing a bug, a spider got in, you don't want him. And you can even go into a windshield wiper, planting your heel, just for some variation. Again, as long as you're doing this motion, you're working that muscle, which will keep your hips stable. And if you again stand and turn, you have a good foundation to do that. And you can even practice standing and turning. Just be mindful of your knee, it's not really designed. Be sure you're giving at the hip and the ankle. Good, and shaking that out a little. And another way to keep your hip strong and stable, since we don't go into full jumping jacks, you can hang on to a trusty chair if you need it, and you just simply side lift. Now, instead of getting all carried away, lead with your heel and up this way. You're not going to go as high, but you're going to feel more stretch, and it's going to challenge your balance more. And being sure to do it. Same thing to the other side. Again, just like you're leading with your heel. You can turn your foot in a little bit. And if you really get trusting to your balance, you can do almost a Karate Kid. Good. And I'm just going to shuffle that out. Always remember to go at your pace that's comfortable for you. Even if you're in a class, if you need a break, just have a seat, rest as you need, and be sure to hydrate, plenty of water. For some reason our thirst mechanism can fall behind, so just keep it up. Plenty of water. That also helps with low back and hip pain, being well hydrated. Good, and we can shake that off if we want. And another thing, since walking is basically one foot and the other, is to isolate, practice one part, is to actually go, you can do it yoga style, the way they do it. Be sure to have a chair, wall, handy surface, or if you're in Tai Chi or martial arts, you can go full karate. We're just practicing standing on one foot. Because if you can stand on one, you can stand on two. I would work up to 20 seconds. As you can tell, I haven't been leading a class for a little bit, and I'm a little wobbly. There we go. And if we do one side, we'll do the other. If you can't bring it this high, it's okay just to put one foot on top of the other. Just be sure to have your stable surface, such as your wall or your chair, handy. In Fit and Fall classes, everyone will have a chair to either rest or steady themselves. If you go from there, back into a shuffle or march, it gives your neuromuscular system something else to adapt to because you're static, back into motion. Good, and shaking that out. Okay, and another way to keep your hips flexible and strong is you can pretend you're standing on a beach, the sand, and you're just going to kind of draw a smiley face beside you. You'll just kind of ball your foot into the sand. Just draw a smiley face. Try to let this toe point this way and this toe point that way. Feeling it in the hip. And starting over. And I'm drawing half moon, smiley, whatever you want to call it. Try to keep your foot facing out the best you can. Some of your more flexible people, you will be able to point more that way. I never had flexibility. And we did with one way, and doing it with this other leg. Again, having a stable surface if your balance isn't cooperating today. Good, and I'll just shuffle that out again. Give my hip a rest. And when you're out and about or in exercise class, be conscious of your good posture, because again, it degrades as we get older. So if you consciously think to throw your shoulders back, spine straight, you'll get back into that habit. You're carrying a sack of flour, your briefcase, or when you put your backpack on, nice stacked spine. Good. And shaking that out. Okay, and we can start working on the upper body. One thing you can always do is just some hammer fists. That helps keep the elbow lubricated just like the knee. And you can shuffle and hammer fist. I don't have rhythm again, so I have to do it in sync. But you can make fun little games out of this. So you can go for 2 each time. And again, you can do hammer fist to your knee, doing a march. Good. And again, I'll shake that out. And another one that's good for the shoulder, you can call it elephant ear or whatever you want to call it. Easiest way to think of this is like you're going to go blah, 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 at somebody you don't like or somebody who drives bad or something. And you're going to slowly, as you breathe out, bring your elbows together the best you can. And out. The reason I do it this way, I don't recommend locking and going behind your head because you've got some joints in a much more unnatural position and it's hard to unlock them. Where here you're focusing on the movement you want more rather than torquing on your neck and pulling your head out of location. Good. And shaking that out. And we'll go into a shuffle, and this time you can hitchhiker as you shuffle. Good. Okay, and one of the biggest exercises you can do, and is just do it by practicing, and with good posture. There's several ways you can help yourself do this, and it's okay if your toes point out a little bit or straight, but if they point out a little bit, that's fine. And we'll do the most advanced version, if you're really confident, is with good postures to cross, sit using all hip and all leg, and a nice controlled sit. Then back up, thinking going from the hip. If you're not quite there, you're a little bit unstable with that, you can use a little bit of momentum. Make sure your feet are firmly planted a little bit in front of your chair. And kind of like you're going to slap a chair or something in front of you and come up like this. And back down. And again, it just... This gives you a little bit of rocking momentum. And if you need another little bit of assistance, you can plant your palms about to your knee and kind of pushing down, using that to help bring yourself up, and you can kind of use your palms to guide yourself down. Again, using the best posture you can. Again, if you have assisted devices, please use them. Please feel free to use them so that you can up and down safely. This is more to maintain. If you have your cane, you're free to use it as well. But just the whole goal is to try to get you strong so you depend less on your assisted devices. And we always like to wind down an exercise session with some stretching and range of motion. Okay, those of you in yoga class, so you're doing great, or those of you that practice stretching every day, the thing you do is bring your knees and heels together. I like to do a toe heel walkout until you get an opening in the hip area. Again, with good posture, just slightly pushing out, pushing above the knee, obviously not on the kneecap, and just holding this for 15 to 30 seconds, wherever's comfortable. Good. And walking it back in. Okay, and another hip stretch that you can do. If you are not comfortable, or your doctor says don't do a full hip stretch like this, then obviously please don't. But if you can, this is great. And a slight pressure down. Good. And if your legs are in a bad mood or your doctor says no, just simply cross. And with good posture, reach forward. Keeping the low back tight. Again, you should feel it in the hip and in the glutes. And then crossing over the other way with the other leg leads. And doing the same thing. Working up so that you can do the full hip stretch, bringing your legs into your lap and holding that. You can do this one during commercials, during your favorite show. It'll be a good way to get range of motion in. And let go when your show comes back on. And again, just stretch and keep mobile. Lower spine. Again, with good posture. Very similar to when you back up your car out of the driveway. Those that don't have a camera, with good posture, I like to let one hand kind of dangle, the other in my lap, and then turn and look over the off shoulder. Holding this for, again, 15 to 30 seconds. And back to center, and same thing, other side. You'll have to kind of think to push your shoulders down so you're not shrugging and doing this, because then you think more about your shoulders than your spine and core. If it were to be a show off, you could put a book on your head and do it. Okay. And working our way up for our shoulders. Straight sometimes, doing kind of a reverse Superman. Do it. If you feel discomfort, stop immediately. Just letting your arms dangle. Like you're reaching back, like someone's going to high five behind you. And for stretching the shoulder in the front, it's the same thing. Coming in with good posture and then pulling your shoulder blades together, raising straight up until you feel tension here in the deltoids or your shoulders, and stopping there. This shoulder stretch protects the rotator cuff, which most of us manage to mess up by the time we're 30 for some reason. And letting it go, and just a few shrugs to work that out. Okay. And about this shoulder stretch, this, to keep from having sore shoulders the next day, I would say instead of grabbing and pulling, use kind of a hook thumb and don't really pull, just go what's natural. And same thing other side, just kind of like you're tracking a bird or something. And when you feel tension, and consciously push your shoulder blades down. Good. And just kind of shrug that out. Okay. And then we can work our way to our wrist and to our fingers. And our finger flexors. Just like you're high-fiving, you should feel a nice little stretch through there. And switching that out. And a little finger dexterity, if you just kind of count your fingers. And you can even do the kids' game, kind of like you were in a prayer position, but then you're doing spider push-ups. Bring your fingers together the best you can. Pushing in, just rubbing the palms together, getting some circulation going. And throughout the day, you can just massage each knuckle a little bit, keep blood flow and fluid flow going. And kind of like you're zapping someone or shooting water off your hands after there's no towel. Okay, and just counting your fingers real quick. And just by doing, I guess if you were describing a snake to a space alien, whatever you want to call this movement. And you can be a little more carried away with it. Okay, and then just some relaxed breathing, just to bring it down. And doing those 3 times a week or as often as you can will help you maintain your balance and mobility. It's easy, doesn't cost a gym membership, you can do it with your friends, and keeps you independent and strong for as long as we can. Again, I'm Mike from Fit and Fall Proof, and I thank you for your time.